poor, man. I mean, we're poor, and nobody wants to do nothing about it. You still kissing the Democratic Party, thinking they're gonna save you, and they ain't gonna do it.
In 1972, Ramsey Muniz, a former football star at Baylor University and an attorney, announced that he would run for governor under the Raza Unida banner.
The key to the city, but we just don't want the key. We want the key to the whole state.
Ramsey Muniz was a very attractive candidate. He was very able. He was tireless. I mean, he went out and campaigned day and night. He is what people wanted to be like. He made you proud of being a Mexican American.
And he'll tell you, I went to fight for my country. Hell, if we're good enough to die for the country, we're good enough to get an education in this country. Our people are awakening, and their eyes are opening.
2 months later, Ramsey Muniz lost the governor's race in Texas to Democrat Dolph Briscoe. But by receiving more than 200,000 votes, Muniz denied the Democratic Party a majority for the first time in the 20th century.
Bueno, Mason, do you think you're going to win? Les digo, I've already won. Look at this right here.
He got about 250,000 votes in 1972 against Briscoe and almost caused Briscoe's defeat. They counted that race till very late at night. By golly, that was close that night, and he almost pulled off what I think was the plan, and that is, if we can't win, we're not going to let the conservative Democrat win.
Hace rato que habló Corky González, habló el hermano José Ángel Gutiérrez. Estamos hablando de tratar de solucionar los problemas que tenemos, no nomás aquí, en este estado, pero en los demás estados. Les digo que me da mucho gusto de saber que ustedes quieren que venga y hable, pero a la noche le voy a dar todo el gas. Le damos. Gracias.
Organize anybody else's backyard. So how do you make like say coalitions? You know, I think we all understand the need for coalitions.
Well, let me give you an example about a coalition that you know that occurred just here recently, about 2 weeks ago. Dr. Ralph Abernathy and the wife of Martin Luther King, they came down and they gave us the endorsement down here in the state of Texas. Now, when I spoke about it first, and when we talked about a black and a brown coalition, even on a statewide basis, our own people didn't understand. I mean, you know, they would say the blacks are getting everything. Well, they're not getting anything. They're not getting as much as what we are. But see, we're having to even go at that stage. I mean, we've been trying to tell them that we both have a common problem and that we're being oppressed. We're going through a whole re-educational process and to trying to even understand each other. I mean, we're at this stage. I believe that we're at a stage right now to where we're finding out, a lot of people are finding out, okay, I'm a Chicano and I'm a Mexicano. Now, what the hell do I do?
Entonces, everywhere we go, a donde vamos, our people are awakening and their eyes are opening. And the most beautiful thing I see tonight is this youngsters right here holding a flag. This is Viva la Raza Unida. And now somebody tells me, when they say, do you think you're going to win? Les digo, I've already won. Look at this right here. We've already won. We can't lose. There's no way we can lose. There's no way. And I'm not saying that we're not going to disagree, because we are. Y vamos a alegar, vamos a hablar de muchas otras cosas que no todos mismos vamos a pensarla. But let's keep one thing in mind. Keep one thing in mind. Don't let the Democratic Party and don't let the Republican Party know that we're fighting. If we're going to do any fighting, let's do it in the closet. Let's do it in the gym, somewhere where nobody can see us, And when we come out like this together.
Ramsey's been avoiding the issue for a while until now we couldn't avoid it anymore. They said, what are you going to do on November 7th? You know, what about McGovern? Because obviously, you know, we got to be for a Democrat. So Ramsey says, well, when McGovern endorses me, you know, I might consider endorsing him. Now we know that's not going to happen. So our people have to learn by example, see? But otherwise, with intellectual papers and professors and analyzing and charts, it ain't going to cut it. But that little simple thing, and now we're asking, endorse a Mexican. How liberal are you, McGovern? How liberal are you, white liberal, you know? Will you vote for a Mexican?
All of our white liberal friends, I mean, very close, they were going to support us, they were going to vote for us, but they weren't going to tell anybody else. They will tell you, look, I really like you, I'm going to give you some money under the table, but don't tell anybody. I mean, you know, I'm for Raza and all that, the Mexican Americans and all kind of programs. I'm for school programs, loans, and all that.
I don't need letters.
and we don't need letters, you know. But then, after we came out with the statement, they would call and tell, what the hell are you trying to do? I mean, are you trying to kill us? I mean, what are you trying to do? I mean, trying to ruin us or what? Here's the only chance that you ever had. I said, well, this is the only chance that we have.
Now, as we go into the resolution strategies, our state platform has to do with an independent party. Those resolutions or those motions made to not endorse any other candidate from another party is something that we committed ourselves to in Greeley at our state convention.
I would like to also once again thank all of the individuals that continue to be involved in the committee to free me from this mode of darkness that I find myself in. I know that I haven't spoken much about my case, and there's a reason for it, and the reason for that is because there's a certain group of attorneys and constitutional scholars that are in the process of opening my case again. There's no question about the injustice that was committed against me, especially in this last case. Prosecutional misconduct, the withholding of evidence to the very end of the trial, where the federal judge threatened the government with a contempt of court, not giving us sufficient time for investigation and preparation of the case after we found the evidence that they had withheld from us. There was a certain person, and this is the first time that I speak about this publicly, that had dealt with the U.S. government. And he was arrested by the government. The person had contacted our office in order to hire our office to represent his brother, who was incarcerated at that time in California. We eventually contacted the authorities in California, found out about his case, and when he came back to us, we told him how much it was going to cost for us to get into the case. He told us that he would come back and speak to us, and then came back, and little did we know that he trying to enter into a drug deal with the U.S. government that he didn't know was the U.S. government. When he was arrested, he expressed that he was talking to me about the case, and one thing led to another, and next thing I know, that individual is talking to me about doing this and doing that, and I told him that we were not into that. The rest you will find as part of the trial proceedings. I was arrested. That particular person was a material witness to our case. At the time of my arrest, he was put in an airplane and he flew to Mexico. We did of that particular part of the case until the last days of the trial, because we knew there was some part that was missing. And finally, my attorney, DeGuerin, asked the court to put the government witnesses on the stand. And one or two of them perjured themselves about not knowing anything about it. And finally, the judge was going to hold them in contempt and made them bring that particular part of the evidence before us. And it stated where this particular person had entered into a conspiracy and blah, 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 and this and that, and that's part of the trial that we're trying to get back to. I am not guilty of the charges that I was charged with. For what the government had, my sentence was a death sentence. I have been sentenced to life sentence without parole. I have never in my life carried a weapon, nor have I ever been charged with assault or battery or the murder of anyone. And yet, I was given a life sentence without parole, which in reality is a death sentence. I will continue to fight for my liberation, but most importantly, I want the people out there to know that I will continue to struggle for the liberation of my people. That first and foremost. Because if my people were free out there today, I will be free tomorrow. I want to thank you with my heart, with me today. And again, I want to thank my loving family and my loving wife for being the Mexicana that she is, for being brave, for being valiente, to know what is right and what is wrong.
And I myself want to tell you that I appreciate the opportunity that you presented to me today. And it's been an honor to interview you. And that I'd like to thank you, hermano.
Muchas gracias.
I appreciate it very much.
Gracias.